Hi, I'm Jim.
And I'm Becca.
And we are professional Englishists. So we're just going to finish up a couple of things to do with commas. If we've missed anything, which is entirely possible, and you have any questions, you can leave them in comments. But we just want to follow up with like the last few things that we have. You set up a direct address with commas on either side of the person you are addressing, like this.
You place a comma before a direct quotation that is prefaced with a phrase, like he said, comma, or she argues, etc., like this one, but not if it is an indirect quotation, like this one.
You place a comma on either side of the year and a date, like so.
And you use commas to separate parts of an address, except for the zip code, like in this example.
So I think that we're done with commas. If there's anything that you're confused about, just leave a comment and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have, either in the comments or in a video or something like that. But for today, we want to address another comment. So Coolman1516, one of our viewers, asked us what some of our favorite classic books are. So we thought maybe we'd talk about that today.
So, yeah. Classic literature, I seem to be all over the board. I don't really have a pattern for what classic literature I enjoy. I did get into a lot of Louisa May Alcott when I was younger, and I think I've read everything she's ever written. Aside from that, it was a lot of Jane Austen, Mark Twain. Ooh, who else have I read?
I read a lot of, well, I mean, like, I've read a lot of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I read mostly British literature because my field is British literature. But as far as my favorites, I mean, my favorite classic novel, my favorite, like, capital L literature novel is Wuthering Heights, and it's what I started writing my thesis on before I became about the Bronte sisters in general. I love Wuthering Heights. It's a structural masterpiece. Like, it's so cool. And actually, when I was in England, I had the pleasure of walking on the moors behind the Bronte parsonage. I had this really great transcendent literary experience where I was like, these are the moors that the Bronte sisters walked on, and these are the moors that Emily Bronte was thinking about when she wrote Wuthering Heights. And somewhere across the moors, and this is true, somewhere across the moors from the Bronte parsonage is a big sort of like farmhouse, which is what she imagined when she imagined Wuthering Heights. So in a way, the Bronte parsonage is Thrushcross Grange, and that house is Wuthering Heights. And it was a really cool experience.
Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, I read a lot of Jules Verne. Would you consider Tolkien literature? Because some people might.
I'd consider, at this point, because I might consider Tolkien classical literature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
that would be my favorite. Like, I loved The Hobbit. I love Lord of the Rings. I go back and read that a lot. Same with Isaac Asimov. So I think a lot of my capital L literature
is sci-fi.
It's sci-fi and fantasy. Yeah.
My favorite Shakespeare play is Antony and Cleopatra.
Really? Oh. That's one I haven't read.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. It's such a good. It's definitely the best tragedy. It's my favorite play by far of Shakespeare's. Wow. Yeah.
See, I like The Tempest, and I like As You Like It.
As You Like It's good. My favorite comedy is actually Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh, I love Much Ado About Nothing. Have you seen the Joss
I haven't seen the Joss Whedon
version. Oh my god!
And it's on Netflix. I could watch it.
It's so good.
I haven't seen it yet.
I loved it.
So, Amy Bradshaw, who is responsible in part for all the comma videos.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Amy. Commented in our last video that she would really like us to maybe do a sort of lit class type of thing, where we all sort of read a book together as a community and talk about it. And I wasn't sure how much interest we would get for that, or how many people are watching us that would want us to do that. And I want to have enough that we could really have discussion in comments. So what I want to do is, this is partly to gauge interest and partly to just talk about what book maybe we should read. So we have sort of 3 things in mind, and if you could, please leave in comments which book you would like us to cover. And just like, even if you don't usually comment, just put the name of the book in the comments, and that would be great, just so we have a good idea of what people want to do. So the 3 are
The Uglies.
Right, The Uglies by Scott Westerfield.
By Scott Westerfield.
A River Runs Through It by Norman MacLean.
The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky.
Right, so if you have any strong feelings about any of those, or even if you don't, and you just want to read one or whatever, or just have a preference, please leave that in comments so that we know, and then we'll take that into consideration. And if you have any other books that you think maybe we should cover instead, you can leave those in comments as well, and we'll talk about it, and maybe we'll do one of those instead. Alright, so that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. We're not sure like whether you guys like the sort of more structured lesson format or this sort of conversational format more, so if you could, in addition to putting in what book you would like us to cover, if you could also just give us an opinion on that, that would also be nice.
That'd be helpful.
Also, one more thing. I wanted to address something that Amy had said in the comments in the last video, which is that she doesn't have the money to donate to the Kickstarter. Please don't donate if you don't have money. Don't put yourself in further financial stress. If you want to support something and you don't have the money to do it, just like support it by reblogging it or sharing it somehow.
Yeah, spread the word.
And that goes for our channel as well. The best way to support us, the best way, is to just share the link with somebody.
Yeah.
Because the more people see things, the more, we're likely to get a larger following, and the more likely we are to just be able to make more of this stuff. So,
yeah.
So, okay, I guess we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.